Hi everyone. I have lived 30 years of my life as an able bodied person, just like many of you. Imagine the variety of life experiences we go through running around in school, partying with friends from college, holidays with family, and so on. I was on a roll in my 30th year. I had picked up contemporary dancing, I had traveled from Oslo to Taipei to Amsterdam, and a very cliche that many of you will relate to a holiday in Goa with friends. To top it off, I added a road trip from Nagpur to Mumbai with my parents. Who knew this trip would change my life forever? When we were on the highway, a speeding truck rammed into our car. I was wearing a seatbelt, so my body didn't move much. But I got a jerk in my neck which gave me a fracture. My mom was sitting behind me. She got multiple fractures in her shoulder and is doing much better now. Thankfully, my dad, who was driving, did not get any major injuries. This is my first memory after the accident. Waking up in a hospital room and feeling like a vegetable lying on a farm patch. I was breathing and alive. I could understand others and I could also speak, but I could not feel or move anything below the neck. The fracture in my neck had resulted into a spinal cord injury. A spinal cord carries millions of nerves that are used by the brains to communicate with different parts of the body. Since I had injured it at my level of the neck, now my brain could only communicate with my body above the shoulders, which means it cannot give a signal to my leg to move. It also does not receive signals. So if I have a cut on my finger, I will not feel the pain. In simple words, we can call this paralysis below the shoulders. Also, a spinal cord injury is permanent. There is no cure. While most of the spinal cord injuries happen because of a road accident, the other reasons could be as unexpected as diving into a swimming pool, playing with waves on the sea, a sport, or simply just falling off from the bed. It can happen anytime, anywhere, and to anyone. Sometimes your entire life can change in a moment. I did not know about a spinal cord injury before I got mine. I did not think about accessibility before it became a necessity for me. And I certainly did not think about inclusion before I began to feel excluded. The first time I felt excluded because of my disability was right after the operation. The doctor had informed my father that I was going to be bedridden for the rest of my life. A normal life like before was just out of the question. But we are not a family that gives up easily. So we found out about a rehab center all the way in New Delhi. These pictures are from the rehab center. My physiotherapy is actually helping me learn balancing. For the sake of the photographs, my hands are on the side, but the exercise actually involves keeping my hands in the air and just using my head and shoulders to balance my entire body so that I can sit. Remember paralysis? So I cannot use my back or abdomen muscles to maintain my posture. I learned many similar hacks at the Spinal Cord Rehab Center. For example, how to use a laptop, how to hold a brush in between my wrists, how to eat food with limited hand functions, and so on. The rehab center and meeting many people with similar injuries helped me to realize that life does not end after an accident, however devastating it may be. This place also armed me with information and hacks about getting back to life and being a part of the society. If you look at world statistics, 1 in every 7 people have a disability. It is a similar number in India. But have you seen these people up and about in public places? Rarely. Most places are not accessible. Many people face isolation and do not get the opportunities because of the stigma and preconceived notions about a disability. Very few people, businesses, and services think about making accommodations for those with accessibility needs. Sharing a few pictures of the activities that I've been able to do, like swimming, scuba diving, paramotoring, and traveling to one of the most difficult places. Not because these were accessible, but only because of the inclusive attitude of people around me. It's not the disability that limits what we can do, but the inaccessible environment and non inclusive attitude of people that becomes barriers. Have you ever found yourself questioning or judging a person's ability just because of the way they look or spoke? Do you have preconceived notions about what people with disabilities can and cannot do? Watch yourself the next time. I need assistance with many personal tasks, but when I am at work, the one thing that makes me feel completely independent is technology. I use a motorized wheelchair that helps me move around independently. There's one more advantage: I don't have to bother about a crowded meeting room. I'll always have a chair at the table. I use a dictation software. I cannot press buttons on a remote control, so I love telling Alexa to change channels on the television, switch on the AC, and even something as simple as lights. These technologies have become a big enabler for me. I feel confident whenever I'm able to do something by myself. After my injury, I realized that the opinion of the world about me had changed. I felt like my disability had become a stigma. People just don't know how to interact or just be around someone with a disability. My body has undergone a transformation, but I was still the same person inside. The only people who saw me in me was my family and the company I was working with at the time of the accident. Nobody questioned my capability when I decided to join work 3 months after the accident. They facilitated me with everything I needed to do my best and trusted me to get things done. I know of many people who had to lose their jobs and livelihood after they got a disability. I'm one of the lucky few who had a supportive infrastructure around me. These photographs are from my team at Opera before and after the injury. Both times I was able to enjoy team activities which were fun and inclusive. Rehabilitation of a person with spinal cord injury starts as soon as you leave the hospital. Months and years are spent learning life skills, which could be as basic as learning bowel and bladder management. But exercise and therapy is not enough. For me, work was a driving force that helped me move on. I had a goal beyond myself: to engage with the customers on behalf of the company. Since nobody doubted my capabilities, I had the freedom and independence to challenge myself for higher goals at work. At Amazon, too, I'm glad to have colleagues and peers who consciously enable the work environment around me. This photograph is from last year when we launched Echo Auto in India. I was responsible for the demo event, from inviting media to identifying the venue, the branding on the cars, the key messaging, and briefing spokespeople. But I took help from the devices as well as the PR team for the in car demos. We got excellent coverage and the objective was achieved. We all take help on occasions. You don't have to lower the bar of goals or expectations if you have a colleague with a disability. Just be inclusive by removing barriers, offering the same level playing field so that they can perform to the best of their abilities. Inclusion is not about completing a training or attending a workshop. It is what you think and do every single day. Many hiring managers are skeptical when they get the CV of a candidate with a disability. I have faced this bias when I was looking out for a job. Thankfully, at Amazon, my hiring manager had grown up looking up to his mother, who had a disability as well as a full time job. This helped him to not have any limiting beliefs about my capabilities before interviewing me. This pandemic has brought us face to face with a lot of learnings. And the one I hope everyone would have realized by now is that a lot of work and stuff can also be done by sitting on a chair at home. Many of you would have hired a candidate that is different from the rest. But have you taken any efforts to make this person feel a part of the team? Are you being inclusive, or are you just adding a checkbox to the action item of diversity? Let's turn this around and imagine if you are the person who is different from the rest. Imagine if there is a team gathering at a club but you don't like drinking or dancing. What if you prefer flexible work hours because you are a primary caretaker of an elderly or a toddler at home? Would you like to be excluded from opportunities at work that will help you grow and succeed? Think about it. I've been with Amazon for almost 4 years now, and this picture summarizes my experience. This was clicked during a Christmas party just 4 months after I joined. One look, and my mother exclaimed that my wheelchair is invisible. I'm not standing out like I do in most team pictures. She said that it feels as if I'm just one amongst them, like I was before my disability. This says a lot about the work environment I have. Sometimes my headphone gets stuck in my hair. I need help with removing medicine from my bag every day at 1 pm. But I don't hesitate a bit to ask for help from anyone on the team. These seem small, but it says a lot about how my team is inclusive and sensitive to my unique requirements. If you happen to have a colleague with a disability, feel free to ask them about it. We like it when others want to know more. I think it's also an unwritten code between us that we want to talk about disability so that there is more awareness, less myths, and more inclusion. We all look different, we sound different, and we even perceive the world in different ways. But at the core of our being, we all seek the same thing. We seek acceptance, we seek community, and we all seek inclusion. I'd like to leave you with a quote by diversity and inclusion expert Varna Meyers. Diversity is being invited to a party. Inclusion is being asked to dance. Thank you.